Hello? Hello? Hi. All right. I guess I can just get started. All right. My name is Erin O'Brien, and I am delighted to welcome you to the first inaugural, I guess those are the same word, but oh well, the first edition of Puzzle Talk Live. And before we get started, I just want you to know that what we're dealing with here, what you have here, is a utility grade operation. I am not a professional. This is steerage class entertainment. We don't have very good lighting. We don't have very good audio. We don't have very good anything. You just have me talking to you with a large glass of cheap vodka and a whole lot of puzzles. So, woo! Let's get right at it and dive into the puzzles. All right. The subject today is I wanted to talk about something that was just so fun. And what is so fun is mini puzzles, tiny puzzles. They can be round, they can be rectangular, square, whatever, but they're usually just a few inches, 6, 7 inches in diameter. And let's start with something vintage because I certainly am vintage. All right. This is copyright 1973. This is a Springbok mini puzzle. It is one of the Naturescapes puzzles. And this is called Meadow Fern. And when I was 7, 8 years old, I think I had 2 or 3 of these. I think one was a lotus flower. And I loved these puzzles. This is what started me on my lifelong love of puzzles. And I didn't have any. They got lost in the great whatever the hell happens to all the shit in your life. And I had bought this one on eBay. And when I opened it, I never would have remembered this, but one of my puzzles, can you see this? If you can see what you have there, these two puzzle pieces are fused together. The die that cut these had a flaw in it. And I remembered that one of mine had this, and that was just such a great memory. So, vintage, okay, just before we go any further, a comment on Springbok puzzles. Springbok puzzles are controversial, but I'm not talking about that. Is it controversial in the puzzle world? It is, and I'm not talking about that right now. You want to talk about Springbok puzzles? That's another puzzle talk. Now we're just talking about mini puzzles, and we're not talking about Springbok controversy, which is big. That's another, okay. So, miniature Springbok Naturescapes, what turned me on to puzzles. Going back a little further, it is the year 1968, and here come those thingies that I was talking about. Late 60s, I think she was about 23, cool little artist named Sandy Miller. She finds Springbok, or Springbok finds her, and they contract her to make these designs for these little mini puzzles. This is from 68. I have 2 of these. I have this one, and I have this one. And again, I'm trying to show this to you without spilling it all over. These old Springboks have these, look at these thick, chunky pieces. They're really fun to work. And anyhow, so Sandy Miller Springboks were a thing, and they were just these cute little puzzles. They cost a couple of bucks, and there would always be a note from Sandy on the back. So here's this image, and I'm going to read the note from Sandy on the back. Smile, it's Christmas. An ugly angel can't be all bad. In fact, angels can't be bad at all. And this angelic choir director, aside from being a bit vain, have you ever seen more ostentatious shoes? Is the first and last on his pew to sing loudly his holiday cheer, signed Sandy Miller. Let's take a look at those shoes. So these were just these delightful puzzles, and they did it for a couple of years, and that was the end of it. And then there was no more Sandy Millers until when? Until snap to the year 2009. And another puzzle I'm going to show you. Here is another Sandy Miller thingy. But this, in '09, Sandy did a deal with a company called Liberty Puzzles. And I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not talking all about Liberty Puzzles. That's another puzzle talk. You can come back and hear about Liberty Puzzles then. Now we're talking minis. And we're talking about this Sandy Miller thingy. It's called a thingy. All right, wait, hold on. Just a little. This is a lot of ice, a little vodka, and then I fill it with really atrocious flavored soda. So it's like that White Claw. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Forget it. Okay, Sandy Miller thingy, and this this was a gift. But I want to show you these pieces. This is Liberty Puzzle is the finest wooden jigsaw puzzle in all the land, and see, look at the pieces. Can you see that? It's made out of this beautiful wood, and it's full of these figurals. So this little piece for the Sandy Miller puzzle is shaped like a little Cupid. Now, Sandy Miller puzzles through Liberty have been discontinued. So this is a real treasure. I know who you are out there who gave this to me. I love your guts. I love your guts. Love your guts. Woo! Now, before we go any further, I just want to show you a few of my other Springbok. Actually, these are all the only other Springbok minis that I have. I have a few of them. I'll go through them quickly. All right, this one is a little box of chocolates. Ooh, yummy, yummy, it says. And I'm guessing 80s, probably 80s, because there's no, you can tell that because there's no barcode and it is not bilingual. So that's kind of, I've never looked all these up, but here you go. Here's some chocolates. These are all mini Springboks. Reese's Pieces, mini Springbok. A beverage that is clearly a much higher quality than the slop I am drinking. Okay. This is, frankly, it's just bad candy. And here we have popcorn. Just popcorn. All right. All Springboks, 80s, probably 90s. Okay. I'm going to tell you what I have to tell you. And that is, when you are doing a mini puzzle, you're not going to get in trouble doing the chocolate puzzle, because you're only going to be doing this puzzle for 15 or 20 minutes. Now, if maybe you had a huge Springbok that was maybe 2,000 pieces called Sweet Razzle Dazzle, maybe you had that puzzle and it's actually all ribbon candy. You might, even though it's in the middle of summer, maybe you stop in the middle of the puzzle and then you go to someplace called B.A. Sweeties, because you know they'll have Christmas ribbon candy all year round, and you stop and you actually have to go and buy ribbon candy because you're looking at all the GD ribbon candy and you got to have it. So if you're going to do a candy puzzle, either make it really small or get a big one, and make sure that you can have some time to have a cupcake or chocolate or something, because you're going to want to stop. And don't even talk to me about an ice cream puzzle. I stopped doing all those puzzles because, all right, enough of this. I can't even stand it myself. We're moving on. We are moving on to, what are we moving on to? Oh, I love this. Oh, I love this. All right. Woo! It's an Educa. It's an Educa. It's an Educa miniature. Hell yeah, it is. Okay, what do we got here? We have the Coliseum and we have a blue Fiat. And you're saying, Erin, what the F are you showing me? This doesn't look like a mini puzzle, but guess what? You're wrong. Okay, you're wrong, and I'm going to show you why you're wrong. Look at these little tiny pieces. Look at this puzzle. All right. Okay. So when I do little tiny puzzles, I don't usually do this with the minis, but this was a 1,000-piece puzzle, miniature, because of these tiny pieces. So it's included in here. And because it's a bigger puzzle, it has something special in it. Okay. This is a note card, and the art is by Mark Mothersbaugh of Devo fame. That's the artwork. And here's what it says on the back. Dear fellow Earthling, once you finish this unique puzzle, you can rightly claim that you have constructed the Colosseum. Enjoy life's little wins. Signed, Erin O'Brien, October 10th, 2016. I like to delude myself into believing that someday when I die and they take all these zillions of puzzles and they take them to some thrift store and someone will delight in the fact that they got, because eventually I'll be famous, an Erin O'Brien puzzle, and I'll know because they'll get a stupid note like that in it. This puzzle, are you there? Okay. This puzzle has been discontinued, so I'm very glad I have it. It was a real bitch to do. It was hard, but it was great. And I have constructed the Colosseum. Woo! Mini puzzle there. I'm not done. I am not done. All right? Oh. You think you know puzzles, but you don't know puzzles. This puzzle comes in a little test tube. And a dear friend bought this for me, I want to say in Paris. And you know who you are out there. And I want to show it to you. It features an absolutely delightful rendering, illustration of the Eiffel Tower. Look at the size of the pieces. Now you would think that this puzzle would be hard. It was not that hard. It was utter joy to do. I think it's 150 pieces. And now it occurs to me that what I have to do is I have to get a very tiny little note card and write on it in very tiny little letters, this puzzle is, dear fellow Earthling, this puzzle is complete. Good luck finding this one. This is not some, I don't know where it was made. It was made in China, but I posted about it before, and it's not a puzzle that you can find too easily. And I think there's 3 of them in this series, and it's just, what a delightful little object. What a delightful little object. All right. Going from that extreme, we're going back in time. We're going to mid-century, and I'm going to show you a great American puzzle. It's a great American puzzle. It's an old Tuco. And Tuco was like, they were manufacturers of puzzles for a zillion years. Here's this old, it's a boring puzzle picture. It's nothing special about it, but I love this puzzle because, well, first of all, it says on here, on the side, if you can see that little writing says, time average. If you're an average puzzle doer, the average time is 45 to 60 minutes. If you're skilled, it's 35 to 45 minutes. If you're a genius, it's 20 to 30 minutes. And this is about, and it doesn't say how many pieces, it says between 75 and 100. But look at this. The reason these old Tucos are so cool, and all these miniature puzzles are just, what a delight. You do them in a few minutes. Look at these thick, chunky pieces. If you ever see an old Tuco, they're just satisfying to hold in your hand because they're just big and chunky. And anyhow, I'm guessing this is from maybe early 60s. I have a few Tucos, but this is my only. Oh, I just saw another reason why I love puzzles. All right, get the hell out. So I don't even remember where I got this, but somebody completed it in October of '79. And can I just say it? Their note is no way near as good as my note. But hell, that's just the way life goes. All right, I don't even like this puzzle, but I'm showing you this puzzle because I bought it for $1 at the thrift store. And before we go on, I'm just going to say something to all of you people about the thrift store puzzles. People come on and they go, oh, I won't buy a thrift store puzzle because what if it's got a missing piece? Meh. I don't want to hear it, okay? You paid $2, $3 for a puzzle that would have cost you $17, I don't know what. And so it had 999 puzzle pieces, and you're worried about one piece? You did the puzzle. You had a good time. You got your dollar's worth. If you can't find a piece, go do another part of the puzzle, okay? Just stop. Anyhow. All right, so I got off on a tangent. Call the police. All right, a Wentworth puzzle. These are made in, I want to say, Great Britain. They are a wooden puzzle. They are nowhere near the quality and fun of the Liberty that I talked about before, and we're going to have a special Liberty puzzle show here on Puzzle Talk. But I'm going to show you, they do have some whimsy pieces here in the Wentworth, and it's not a cruddy puzzle. This is a nice, you see that's a nice plywood puzzle piece. And I don't know what these cost, maybe 25, 30 bucks. I don't collect Wentworths, but it's a garden puzzle, so cute little, here's a little whimsy piece. It's a little, can you see that? It's a little shovel. But I felt very victorious that I got this cool wooden puzzle, cool little miniature wooden puzzle, just for $1 at the thrift store back when we still had, and if you're from Cleveland, you'll understand, Unique Thrift, which is gone now. Savers is good, but it ain't no Unique Thrift. Okay, all right. Another puzzle that has since been discontinued. I have not opened this puzzle yet. And for anyone who knows me out there, you're all going to just completely you're going to inflate with joy right now. All right? That's what's going to happen. It's a pickle. It's a shaped puzzle. It's 25 pieces, and it's a pickle. This is a Gallison puzzle. You people have the Google machines. You can look up Gallison. Not going to find this puzzle because it's discontinued, like I just said, but you will find other miniature puzzles on Gallison, and all of the puzzles on Gallison are cool. It's a cool New York company. All right. This was part of their Munchies series, all of which have been discontinued. So you got a gummy bear, there's a Cheeto, there's a pretzel. I have the pickle. I have the pickle puzzle. That's, you know what? That's goddamn poetry is what it is. It's goddamn poetry that I have a puzzle that is pickle. All right. Thomas Hart Benton Hollywood 100-piece puzzle. Beautiful puzzle, beautiful puzzle. It's in this nice tin. I have never worked this puzzle. Another tinned art puzzle. This one's from Pomegranate puzzles. Those are good puzzles. Good images. You people, is anybody listening to me? I'm talking about a pomegranate puzzle. This is a 100-piece. It's small. It's Victor Schreckengast. Okay? And if you're from Cleveland, he was this designer, and I'm not getting into that whole story because, frankly, I forgot I had these two puzzles and I just added them to my lineup right before I sat down to do this stupid thing that I'm doing. All right, I gotta tell you something. So you have the Benton and you have the Schreckengast. If you have an artist that you love, am I telling you not to get a 100-piece puzzle of that artist? No, I'm not telling you that. Go get the 100-piece puzzle. But if you really want to know that piece of artwork, if you can find that piece of artwork in 1,000 pieces, 2,000 pieces, and reconstruct it, you are going... All right, I'm going to talk about this. This is another puzzle talk. I'm just saying, do you get what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with a 100-piece puzzle, but you're not going to get as close to that piece of artwork. And let's face it, that is a cool piece of artwork. You're not going to get as close to it in 100 pieces as you're going to get if it's in 1,000 pieces. Woo! All right. We're down to the last 3 puzzles. New York Puzzle Company. Okay? New York Puzzle Company. Can you say Condé Nast? New York Puzzle Company has tons of copyright usage on a lot of Condé Nast images. And if you go to the New York Puzzle Company site, they just have the coolest puzzles. They are made in America. They have tons and tons of mini puzzles, and they are just great. So, wait, I'm getting a little... Rot gut vodka and pineapple flavored soda water. That is something, isn't it? So we're going to start here. Look at this little mini puzzle. It is a Vogue cover, and I'm going to read the back to you. Zellinger lets whimsy guide his pen, wrote Vogue when describing this artist to readers in 1933. This was a 1933 cover. For the magazine's, this was for the magazine's May 15th, 1934 summer travel issue. He, meaning Zellinger, chose to capture a woman in repose and invite the viewer's imagination to wander as he or she took in the model's B-striped dress, designed by Alex, later known as Madame Gray, Gres, with colors, wrote Vogue, as pungent and vivid as a midsummer afternoon. Now, Madame Gray, Gres, I think was the designer of this frock. And I think that Zellinger was the illustrator. I couldn't figure this out, but look at how delightful this Vogue cover is. And New York Puzzle Company, they had those copyrights at $7-8, I think. Stocking stuffer. Hello. Next. Can you say Art Deco? Can you? Sure you can. Say Art Deco. Vanity Fair. And we have here, it's called Sip or Swim. The artist is Eduardo Garcia Benito, who was really, as you can see, an iconic Art Deco illustrator, and he did portraits. He was born in Spain, and he met Condé Nast, the man, in 1920. And whatever happened between them, Benito did illustrations for, certainly for, this is Vanity Fair, I want to say Vogue, and all of Condé Nast, any number of Condé Nast publications for years. He was one of their most noted illustrators. And as you can see, I have not cracked open to the, I save these like they're a little candy. I save these until I'm like, frankly, just kind of freaking out, and I just need a little puzzle to complete in 10 minutes. So this one I haven't opened, but, and here's where we start getting good. For whatever reason, Benito, in the year of our Lord, 1963, went to, wait for it, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And here is, now God lover, Doris P. Flora, the women's news editor of the Tuscaloosa News, gets wind that Benito is in Tuscaloosa to visit his daughter. And so Doris, 1963, she gets her notebook and she marches over there and she's going to get an interview with Benito. So we are, this is January 6th, 1963, and the headline is Spanish Portrait Painter Visits Daughter Here. And this is the quote that Benito gives Doris Flora. God love her. I just love that she did this. Doris asks Benito what he thinks about the abstract art of the day. And he says this, quote, I am sick of it, he says, adding that abstract art is, quote, on the wrong track. The artist is quick to point out that, quote, this is a delicate thing, yet the question is important to future intelligence. What can they understand about abstract art? It is confusing the mind of the world. Benito liked images he could understand. And that brings us to the last mini puzzle of the evening. Once again, a mini New York Puzzle Company puzzle. In addition to the Condé Nast images associated with Vogue and Vanity Fair and New Yorker, and God, they have the greatest New Yorker cover puzzles. I have a ton of them. I love them. They also have tons of puzzles based on travel posters, okay? Back in the day when travel posters were these wonderful, glamorous, like you would maybe be a 10-year-old girl looking at a travel poster thinking that this magical place was whatever. So I looked into the artist of my little New York mini puzzle, and I found out, what a great story. It is none other than one Harry Birchman, born and raised in Switzerland. I think I have that right. Spent most of his time in New York, but he also in the late 40s, 1940-ish, through early 1950s, he was here in Cleveland. And he did the gallery circuit in Cleveland, and here's what I love about this artist. So, yes, he did commercial stuff like this. He did Pond's cold cream illustrations, and I had one more that he did illustrations for Bufferin. So he paid the bills by doing this commercial art, but he was this absolutely fabulous mid-century abstract artist. And I'll get his name in the comment section. Harry Birchman, and you can look it up. And I mean, just when you think of like 1950s abstract art, Harry Birchman was just that mid-century sensibility, just a fabulous, fabulous artist. And I want to cry. I want his artwork. Like, I want to own it. Maybe I'll buy a print. Why the hell shouldn't I buy a print? I should. But skip to, I think it was 2018, the New York Times decides to find Mr. Birchman and wife Mary and do a story on them. And this was my favorite quote from it. Cleveland was also where Mr. Birchman met Mary, who at the time was married to an ad man who was part of a prominent Cleveland Heights family. Quote, one day Harry said he wanted to do some sketches of me, Mrs. Birchman said. So I sat for Harry, and he did some sketches. And then suddenly he got up and came over and gave me a kiss. I was very proper, brought up in the Victorian way, she continued. Something happened. I guess the coup de foudre, as they say in French. That means love at first sight. And we became lovers. Harry and I were lovers for 10 years before I finally got disentangled from my husband, before I got the courage. What's not to love about that? Well, I dug around and I tried to see what happened to Harry and Mary. And at the time of the article, they were in their 80s. And the only thing I could find online was a listing of the estate of Harry Birchman's. There was an estate sale. So that was in 2019. So Harry, I thank you for your art. I'm going to look into it. I thank all of you for joining me for Puzzle Talk. I hope you enjoyed it, because it's always more than just the puzzle. It's always more than just the puzzle. I'm Erin O'Brien. Thanks again for joining me for Puzzle Talk, and I love you.